Hello and welcome to another Stompy 51 miniature adventure. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. It's going to be an unboxing of a random discombobulated set of miniatures. Now I don't know if this is true, but I was told by a diamond dealer that there was a time, a long time ago, when a company had such a monopoly over the diamond trade that as a kind of wholesaler, well, as a middleman, you'd be just given this bag of diamonds with a range of good stuff, bad stuff, not that exciting stuff, low grade stuff, and then a gem in a single bag, and that was your allocation for whatever it was the quarter. And if you complained, you basically never got another bag or invited back. And so I occasionally buy and sell or trade miniatures on the Bazaar of Obscurities, the for sale and trade thread on the LED Adventure Forum. And sometimes people just give you the offcuts of what they don't want, or they offer it, and you dare not look in the bag, but if you open it, there's all manner of interesting stuff. Actually, that's not totally true as an analogy. You can obviously tell what it is before you trade or buy it. But I thought that I would share the experience of opening up a little bag of some fantasy miniatures I picked up the other day, because they're just such a fun little random bunch, and you could share in my experience. And so the question for us is, what's in this box? And I'll start off with this first little bag, which looks new but very old, because I'm pretty sure these are the Grenadier miniatures, Copplestone Barbarians, possibly from the very early 90s, which I think you can still get. 1991, crikey, what were you doing in 1991? Were you a Grenadier? Anyway, you can still get these, I'm pretty sure. Albeit I'm not exactly sure who does sell them. So, do pop your comments down in the comments. The Austrian Barbarians spirit throughout. Ooh, the one with the helmet looks even more menacing than the ones without the helmet. I think what I'll do is I'll keep these back, maybe for a game like, is it called Vanguard? The Mantic Games kind of square-based skirmish game. Oh, I always love kind of leader-looking dudes standing there waving their axe in the air whilst they send others to their deaths in the name of the tribe. Let's actually give you a sense of scale if we can, because I was going to get these out for scale purposes later, but here are some War Games Foundry swashbucklers, which I happen to already have. Sir Walter Raleigh and everything. I mean, these are, I think, chunky even for War Games Foundry. But it shows you these, yeah, I mean, I think these will be slightly smaller than your usual 32mm Games Workshop human. I think they're probably more akin to kind of old school War Games Foundry, Mark Copplestone, Matt Bickley, is it Nick Collier type human miniatures. Maybe I can use these for slaying. Anyway, on went the modeler through the deep dark wood. Right, I should put them all back nicely. And it goes. Ooh, the heat. Then we come to the Gripping Beast miniatures. I think the person who flipped these on must have had, an army or whatever, or a collection of each of these, and these were the offcuts, because it just seems a bit random, this kind of collection. Although, what does it say about me that all these offcuts easily fitted into what I've got? Anyway, sorry, so these were, where were we? These were clearly Gripping Beast, Order Militant, by one of my favourite sculptors, Matt Bickley. because in the game of Saga Age of Magic, there's a, I forgot what they're called, forces of order or forces of light or something like that. And one of these sub-factions, clearly based on Game of Thrones, were they called the Order Militant, where Cersei foolishly gives this kind of religious order the right to bear weapons again, and then they start a bit of a revolution until she blows them all up in a palace. Spoilers, I mean in the cathedral. Anyway, so these guys clearly have Burn the Witch all over them, and they fit in quite nicely. Wait, there's more of them. Tell a lie. So there's their leader. And I've never really liked these kind of medieval doctor kind of beaky masks, so him I'm not going to keep. And strangely, the leader I'm not going to keep, because even though he's a fantastic sculpt, he's pretty... he looks a bit too fiddly for me to bother painting. But he is beautiful. And a lot bigger than these other guys. But then again, some people just are. So anyway, so let's compare them to... So this is a Mark Copplestone Wargames Foundry Conquistador. Well, obviously he's much smaller than the quite terrifying Marshal over there, but he's a lot more in keeping with the rest of them. And for some reason, I'm sure the swashbucklers, the English swashbucklers, are a little bit bigger. And they're okay. Well, I would say largely in keeping. Got a few more swashbucklers in here. Let's have a look. Swashbuckling about with their swords and daggers. So the English are a bit bigger than the Spanish in any case, which I'm not sure. I mean, is that accurate as a generality? North Europeans bigger than your average Spaniard, who knows? Yeah, so the English are about the same scale as these. And that's how I'll be mixing and matching. These will be the forces of the Holy Inquisition. And so I think these three I'll keep. And these two, I mean his armor is somewhere in that box, will be swapped. Then the box contained about 5 or 6 of these Nightmare miniatures, Nightmare with a K, and these are clearly Kev Adams sculpts. I mean, look at that. There's an actual almost full bear. So these are kind of, what were they called? The berserkers that the Vikings had, who sort of took all these crazed drugs and then just ran into battle flailing about until presumably they got shot down by arrows. So they seem to be some of these kind of berserker goblins. I mean, they are huge. But as I've got quite a few Kev Adams goblins, including some painted, I think I will keep these and could indeed even use them as a little entertaining berserker goblin unit. They are bigger than the old Games Workshop ones. They probably only come up to kind of where my finger is over there. This one is beautiful, but I'm going to part with it, I think, because even though it is super cool in having an actual full bat on his back, he doesn't really scream out, "I'm a goblin" to me. And him, he's very big. I may end up trying to put him on a chariot. He looks kind of, a goblin of the great Ogredai Khan. And him, I'm not sure why he's so much smaller, because he's in the same range. But again, we have a place for any small mindless violence in our goblin crews. Actually, yeah, let's compare him to, look how big they are. These little goblins, they're way taller than an old school old-hammer dwarf. And so we know where they're going to go. Then we come to these, what are they called? these Night Folk by the Northumbrian Tin Soldier, which I reckon this person must have just bought at a show or something, because it seems unusual just to have one pack. And they are very cute. So I think 3 of them are female and 1 of them's a bloke. So I'm going to part with the female because, well, sorry, with the female wizard, because I don't think there's a role for an Earth Mother in my very extensive dwarf collection, but she is gorgeous. They are all more Celtic, I think, than the usual Norse approach to dwarves, albeit, frankly, you know, weren't there the Norse Gaels, whatever, you know, didn't the Vikings effectively heavily settle kind of Ireland and Scotland and northeast England? Him I'm going to keep because he looks very much like a lord of some kind. Toggy Dubness, whatever we'll call him, holding his huge double-handed hammer. And again, with leaders, if they're a bit bigger, that's fine, because in these kind of early civilizations, people look up with respect to those who are very big, no doubt, not least because they get a bash in the back of the head if they don't. Her I'm going to keep, again, because she has clear leadership-looking qualities, that look of absolute focus on her face. And again, my idea there would be put her on a much bigger base, maybe have some little fellow, a little man holding a very tall banner as a kind of retainer, and then maybe, you know, some kind of, I don't know, dead orc or something lying in front of her. I have that orc who got shot in the stomach from the Empire archers sprue from a long time ago, and so she could look like she's just vanquished him. Although now we're talking about quite a big base, we're talking about a 60mm base, but that's the joy of something like Saga Age of Magic. You can just do whatever you want to and then declare her to be conceptually the same as a much bigger unit, albeit that's more dragon rampant. Saga, I think she would still just be a leader, but, you know, could go up to a kind of 50mm base. And this bearded lady dwarf, yeah, all the female dwarfs are bearded. Beautiful model, but too out of keeping and insufficient leadership qualities. Hang on, what's this? And also, there seem to be 3 of 4 goatkin from Crooked Dice Miniatures. Goatkin. I suppose who doesn't think one of their extended kin isn't a bit of a goat from time to time? Well, I might keep 1, but I don't really fancy them. They just came in the group, because they seem to me something that you might have one of for like Dracula's America or something, where you just have these different kind of levels of demon, and you have a lower level demon, and he seems to me to be a lower level demon. Or who else uses demons? Demons. What's that game? Burn in Hell or something? Is it a game? The Uncle Adam game from Tabletop Minions. I mean, they're beautifully cast, I must say. They look like they've been, not that I know, but they look kind of 3D designed, but then cast in a standard kind of way. He just wants a hug. And what they've achieved quite well, which is something I don't usually see well done, is they kind of, if you do go for a skull kind of head, well, how do you fuse it with the fact that they've got a normal human body, you know, like a normal living body? And here it's quite seamless, done by hair. Anyway, hair today, gone tomorrow, as we bald people tend to tell ourselves. Right, well, I hope you've enjoyed this little unboxing. If you want to see more, because I've got loads more kind of lead pewter miniatures to unbox, do like, comment and subscribe. Leave any thoughts that you wish, what you think I could use these for, any games, of course, and I hope to see you around here soon.